I'm not depending on punch power, you know. You know what, it takes a lot more than that to be a great fighter. A lot more than that to be a great fighter, so there's various ways I'll win. I got the fighter spirit, and that's how I'll go in there and break him down with my spirit.
But he can't though. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not even equipped to fight this dude. He's not. It's going to have to be a bunch of stuff in there. Joshua will punish this.
Impossible for somebody like Anthony Joshua, who is so big and so strong, to even think he's going to take it easy. Because even if he tries to take it easy, he's so powerful, so strong that even those punches that are being easy are still going to hurt.
Anthony Joshua didn't hold back at the press conference, calling Jake Paul delusional for believing he can win. Joshua admitted he's taking the fight largely for the paycheck, treating it as business first. But he made one thing clear: once the bell rings, he's the vastly superior boxer, and Paul is badly out of his depth.
I deliver what I was supposed to deliver years ago. I deliver what they ran from. I deliver what he asked for $50 million for. I'm gonna give him a $50 million knockout.
I honestly listen to what people say sometimes. They're avoided, this person's running. I honestly think some people are deluded. Really, I do think that they've got some sort of a long-term concussion, because no one's running. In terms of 50 million, I'm a businessman. If there was 50 million on the table.
Chris Algieri explains that this fight gives Anthony Joshua the ideal chance to step back into the ring after a stretch of inactivity since his last defeat. He believes Joshua can use this matchup to rebuild confidence, regain rhythm, and shake off ring rust without facing major danger. With a big payday on the line and minimal risk involved, Algieri compares it to a controlled sparring session. Financially, mentally, and physically, Joshua stands to benefit, making this a calculated move for his comeback.
What are we talking here? Like, it's gonna be an exhibition? No, it's a fight. You're a heavyweight. You're calling out heavyweights. You're calling out a heavyweight. You're calling out Anthony Joshua, former world champion. You're calling him out on short notice. It's a fight. You're gonna wear 10-ounce gloves and you're gonna fight 10 rounds, and that's what it is. I don't understand any idea of anything else. Oh, it's gonna be 8-2s? Is it gonna be 15-ounce gloves? What the hell are we doing? This is boxing. You want to fight a real guy? You're fighting a real guy, which I am very respectful, and I respect the hell out of Jake Paul if he does step in the ring with Anthony Joshua, no matter what happens. Kid's got balls of steel, and I applaud you.
Well, the reason I say we don't know yet, because Jake Paul has fought in his last fight with Gervonta Davis was going to be an exhibition. They had to do that because of the weight difference. This is still a weight difference here. I mean, Anthony
No, there's not. No, it's not. It's heavyweight. It's the same weight class.
Well, what do you consider Jake Paul? Cruiserweight or heavyweight?
Heavyweight. How much did he weigh his last fight?
He's fought at cruiserweight. He's also fought at heavyweight. Against Tyson was at heavyweight.
What was his last fight? He's a cruiser. He's a heavyweight.
What was
he
his
was
last
too.
fight?
It was
his last
Mike
fight was at
Tyson.
cruiser against Chavez. Whatever, you know what I mean. Like the reason Gervonta Davis fight.
He fought Chavez after Tyson.
Yeah.
Yes, Tyson was that long ago. Wow.
That was a year ago. This week, I was looking at my Instagram memories. I was in Dallas, Texas, getting ready for me pooping my pants on Netflix. That was about a year ago. Exhibition. These are questions that are asked. These are questions that are attached.
Eddie Hearn confirms Anthony Joshua is genuinely interested in fighting Jake Paul, but says the situation must be handled carefully due to Paul's unpredictable track record. He points out that Jake is known for agreeing to fights, only to cancel or delay them at the last minute, complicating planning and preparation. Because of this, Joshua's team is training with flexibility, staying ready for sudden changes while continuing to strategize. Hearn acknowledges the enormous financial upside, suggesting this could become one of the biggest paydays of Joshua's career, if Paul fully commits. However, he stresses that excitement must be balanced with caution. The goal is to secure the fight, protect Joshua's momentum, and avoid any unnecessary setbacks caused by Paul's behavior. Ultimately, Hearn's stance is clear. They're open to the opportunity, but they won't be blindsided. Patience, preparation, and smart management are essential in navigating Jake Paul's volatility, ensuring Joshua gains both maximum reward and minimal disruption.
JJ Paul news seems to come to a surprise for many. How close are we to making that fight, Eddie?
Not that close. I mean, there are conversations. There's a lot of hurdles to overcome. But if he's serious about the fight, and if he can get made, there's a very good chance we'll do it.
Is it on Netflix, and what did the Zone have to say of the fact that it might?
One of the hurdles to overcome. But we were going to have an 8-round run out in December. Just so happens it might be against Jake Paul.
Have you spoke to Nikisa? I know you're not friends with him. What are the conversations you've had?
That's who we're talking about, you know. And if they're serious and if it's real, there's a good chance. But listen, we could wake up tomorrow and he's announced another opponent and he just used AJ's name for clout. Listen, I have to respect him if he takes the fight, but who knows?
What do you think Dana White will make of this fight?
I mean, he did Mayweather against McGregor. He doesn't like Jake Paul. I really couldn't care less what he thinks about the fight. AJ's going to make close to or around a career high payday, and we'll take.
Paulie Malignaggi stresses that Anthony Joshua will take the Jake Paul fight with full seriousness, regardless of it being labeled an exhibition. He notes that Joshua has never underestimated any opponent throughout his career, and once he steps into the ring, he brings complete focus, refined technique, and elite power. Malignaggi explains that Joshua's timing, discipline, and ring IQ allow him to quickly read opponents, expose weaknesses, and capitalize on mistakes with punishing accuracy. Ryan Garcia echoes this perspective, adding that even if Joshua chooses to hold back slightly, his natural size, strength, and precision make his punches extremely dangerous. Both analysts agree that Jake Paul is stepping into the ring with a legitimate heavyweight threat, not a light-hearted showpiece. They emphasize that while the fight may be marketed for spectacle, the danger is real. Joshua's experience against elite heavyweights gives him control over distance, rhythm, and pace, turning the ring into his domain. Paul, they warn, will need a combination of strategy, discipline, and resilience just to keep himself in the fight. One lapse in focus could lead to serious consequences. Ultimately, the message is clear. This matchup demands full respect, preparation, and caution, especially from Jake Paul.
Bag now. And if you listen to this, it's definitely out of the bag.
Yeah, the Fight for 84, big boxing movie that's hitting Netflix soon about the Olympic 84 team starring Jamie Foxx and Chris Algieri.
I'm not starring in anything, but whatever. Yeah, I got a credit. I'm in it. I got some lines. So
that's amazing. That is so cool. I mean, this couldn't get any cooler. You're now in the movie, which is absolutely absurd.
Yeah,
what a day.
Hopefully,
what a life.
Hopefully, maybe there'll be more of this. Who knows?
I think it's just the beginning. I think this podcast is numbered. Our days are numbered.
No way. I'm never letting this go, Dan. This is. I'm a ride or die.
I hope you get so big and become such a big actor that you are like delaying production because you have to film our podcast in your trailer.
Chris is in his trailer. He's got to finish his podcast with Dan.
They're like, who's Dan? It's Johnny Drama style.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, just
total
diva. Just total diva in every way possible.
Yes, like we said, this episode is brought to you by PPP.com. December 6th, we're going to see Pitbull Cruz versus Lamont Roach. And guess what? We're going to talk to Lamont Roach on this episode. I caught up with Lamont and to get his thoughts on the fight with Pitbull, to get his thoughts on Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, which we're going to get to in a second, to get his thoughts on 140, potentially fighting at 135. That's coming up in just a little bit with Lamont Roach. Don't forget to order that fight with us at PPP.com and all the good stuff that comes along with that. That's December 6th. Lamont Roach is an awesome interview. Great guy.
Awesome guy. Forget the interview. He's just a good dude. I told you to tell him what's up. You probably didn't.
He said what's up. He goes, where is he? I said, he's on a movie set. He goes, oh yeah, he's got those movie star looks.
See, that's what I get. But yeah, no, he's a good dude. We see him. He trains down in Florida now. He's over at the Pro Box TV training facility, so we get to see him down there training. He's whipping on all the guys over there. But good people, good dude. Good. His dad's awesome. His brother Jordan's great. He's another one to look out for. I think he's a flyweight. I think he's a flyweight coming up, or bantamweight. But yeah, great family, good boxing family, great boxing heritage.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that mega card. Big card December 6th, and he's a headliner. So we're going to get to him in a second. Some big news broke. Shocking news. According to Ring Magazine, Anthony Joshua is going to step in for Gervonta Davis and fight Jake Paul. We don't know yet if it's an exhibition. We don't know yet the rule set. We don't know the date. These are preliminary talks that are ongoing. Yes, I work for MVP.
Dave Allen dismisses the notion that Anthony Joshua should avoid fighting Jake Paul simply because the matchup is viewed as unconventional or entertainment-driven. He argues that Joshua is still in peak physical shape and, unlike retired fighters, hasn't lost his speed, power, or competitive edge. Allen stresses that many fans mistakenly see these crossover fights as pure spectacle, forgetting the reality of Joshua's athleticism and elite skill set. He emphasizes that this bout isn't just showmanship. Joshua's training discipline, experience, and natural ability mean he can dominate nearly anyone who steps in front of him. Allen warns that casual observers often overlook the true danger Jake Paul faces, fooled by the promotional hype. The reality is that Joshua's strength, conditioning, and championship-level technique remain intact. Ultimately, Allen insists the fight deserves respect. Whether or not it's marketed as entertainment, Joshua's presence alone demands focus, preparation, and acknowledgement of the serious risk Jake Paul is taking.
It was probably shouldn't be licensed, but Florida are very kind of easy commission to get. Yeah, it'd be called an exhibition.
It will be an exhibition.
It probably would be called an exhibition.
What's the point?
For me, as long as that fight you mentioned just now, Spencer, as long as that roadmap is there and it's signed that he fights an interim guy as a warm-up afterwards and fights Tyson Fury next year and Fury's on board, I'm great with it. Otherwise, I do think his legacy's damaged if his last fight is with Jake Paul.
An exhibition is a waste of time. They're for retired fighters. For retired fighters, it's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, listen, the guy's still in his athletic prime. I personally don't see the reason why they can't just do the Tyson Fury fight. Why do we need interims?
Well, we all want that.
Yeah, but why do we need interims? Why do we need warm-ups? We're talking about two experienced guys who've been the best, as you just said, of the last 10, 20 years. Let's get the fight on.
It's as ridiculous as Gervonta Davis going in with him, basically, isn't it, with Jake Paul,
Quite
frankly.
different mindsets. And what, again, listening to Eddie today and what he was saying, the damage that Anthony Joshua suffered mentally, not physically, because physically he's still all there, but mentally against Daniel Dubois, he needs to go through that process again. And they said that's just the whole getting your hands wrapped up, doing it, whether it's Jake Paul, whether it's a top 100 fighter, you go, that's the way Anthony Joshua ticks. He needs that before going into the, all roads lead to Fury, right? We all know that. Whether Fury.
Analysts point out that Jake Paul is finally stepping into a matchup against someone closer to his level in active competition, rather than the older or retired fighters he's faced before. While this makes the fight more intriguing and competitive in the eyes of fans, it also brings significantly higher risk. Commentators emphasize that health and safety are major concerns, as Anthony Joshua's power, experience, and technical skill are far beyond anything Paul has ever dealt with. The fight may be competitive, but it's dangerously one-sided physically.
Maybe even bigger than the Mike Tyson fight. It's hard to say really. Tyson was a big name, but it's going to do numbers regardless because Joshua is a big name and then people are going to be tuning in to see Jake Paul get knocked out. Right now, Eddie Hearn talks about Jake Paul taking this Joshua fight.
I mean, my estimations of Jake Paul would go through the roof if he signs to fight Anthony Joshua, because I just can't believe in my mind that he would do something like that. I mean, Gervonta was a smart one because of his size. Like, you know, I think actually he would have had a lot of success against Jake Paul, but the size is a problem. But this would just be, you know, like if Jake Paul was to take the fight with AJ, you'd really have to maybe carry his balls in a wheelbarrow on the ring walk, you know, because AJ wouldn't mess around in there, you know. So it would be huge, but nothing, you know, to tell you it's close. Just a few conversations so far.
Damn right, if Jake Paul takes this fight, he's got some major balls on him. And I know people hate influencer boxing, but come on, he's not fighting an old, retired, past the prime MMA fighter. No, he's fighting a legit boxer who's massive, 6'5", 6'6", jacked, 240, 250 pounds, shredded, power puncher. Do we need to remind ourselves of what Joshua did to Francis Ngannou? Francis Ngannou was coming off a pretty good performance over Tyson Fury. He didn't get the win in that fight, but you could argue that he did actually win that fight. And Ngannou, throughout his entire MMA career, in 4-ounce gloves, very rarely got hit. He could take a punch. He's got a big, fat African head. big, thick neck, traps back. He just can't really be hit. And look what Joshua did to Ngannou. Out cold. So what do you think Joshua is going to do to Jake Paul? Jake Paul better start loading up on that trenbolone. He needs to start eating anavar like skin.
Analysts underline that Anthony Joshua's Olympic gold and former heavyweight champion status make him a legitimately dangerous opponent under any circumstances. They note that his blend of technical skill, knockout power, and top-level experience is far beyond anything Jake Paul has encountered. Joshua's ability to read opponents, adapt mid-fight, and deliver precise, punishing shots means even the smallest mistake from Paul could be brutally capitalized on. His ring IQ and physical dominance make this a completely different challenge for Jake.
Unified champion at the heavyweight division. He is 6'6", 250 pounds. And also, I do think...
Oh my God.
I do. No, Jake Paul 6'1" and about 220. I want to say this though. I think Anthony Joshua, he's made stupid money in his career, dumb money in his career. I don't think he's going to be in a position to be accepting BS terms with Jake Paul if this is really what's going to end up happening. I think we're actually going to get to see Jake Paul against a former heavyweight champion of the world. Do I think that's a smart idea? Absolutely not for Jake Paul. Do I think it would sell? Absolutely. Do I think it'd be very interesting and people would tune in to see if he gets his head knocked off? Absolutely. I genuinely, I hate to say it.
Experts stress that this fight is anything but casual. It demands absolute focus, rigorous preparation, and deep respect for Anthony Joshua's proven capabilities. Analysts point to Joshua's reach, power, conditioning, and physical presence, all of which give him a clear advantage in controlling distance, pace, and pressure. While Jake Paul remains confident, he's entering a ring where underestimating a former unified heavyweight champion could be costly. Joshua's experience against elite heavyweights has sharpened his timing, defense, and ring IQ, making him fully capable of neutralizing even an unconventional opponent. Ultimately, this matchup represents a true test of Paul's skill, and Joshua's elite pedigree ensures a fight that will be both strategically intense and dangerously competitive.
Probably sees Alexander Usyk, who's now the undisputed, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time now after beating all these guys. He was a smaller guy. Went up, he's like 6'2", 6'3", about 200 pounds. At first, now he's probably sitting at about 220, 230. Similar size to Jake Paul. Went up and beat all these guys. Granted, Usyk, greatest amateur boxer at that weight class ever. I think it's going to be interesting, but I do think Jake Paul is in a good position.
The only fear is this.
I hate to give him credit.
If Jake Paul gets his block knocked off completely,
very possible,
the Jake Paul experiment is a wrap. Because if you step into the ring, everybody thus far is wondering and has wondered, like, what would happen versus a legitimate boxer?
Yeah.
And in their relative shape. Not a 50-year-old Floyd.
Yeah.
Not a 60-year-old Mike. We've all asked ourselves, well, what happens if you fight a real fighter? The problem is, once you fight a real fighter and you get beat down, the hypothesis is gone. So now we don't need to wait to see the experiment. Y'all know what we do every year. We say the best college team could beat the worst NFL team.
Yeah,
and it's a fun debate.
Yeah.
Because if you don't really know ball, you'll be like, man, but if 10 players on Georgia would start for the Cleveland Browns right now. But if they
Ade Oladipo emphasizes that this matchup is one of the most highly anticipated fights in recent memory, drawing massive attention from fans, analysts, and global media. He notes that Anthony Joshua's legacy as a former heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist brings undeniable credibility and elevates the stakes far beyond typical crossover bouts. With both fighters commanding huge audiences, the anticipation for explosive action and a possible knockout has intensified the hype surrounding the event. Oladipo stresses that Joshua's experience, power, and technical ability ensure this won't be viewed as a gimmick. It's a serious contest. The combination of Joshua's established reputation and Jake Paul's mainstream influence has sparked widespread discussion, turning the fight into a major moment not only for boxing fans but for mainstream sports culture as well.
And this is, for Jake Paul, a much bigger fight than fighting Gervonta Davis. And I mean bigger, not just in the sense of who he's fighting and the size of age, I mean bigger in terms of numbers. Like Jake Paul versus AJ does way bigger numbers for me than Javante versus AJ. I think this actually does bigger numbers than Terence Crawford versus Canelo. I really do. I think this is, again, if it makes money, it makes sense. Let's talk about the negativity. And look, I get it. Like, if you're like me, I still believe, and look, some might say, well, AJ's just going to pick up, who knows what the numbers are, 80, 100 million, right? And then continue on his trajectory or career to potentially become a world champion again. I don't like this pause. If this is just me. I still believe that AJ can do damage in the heavyweight division. I believe that. Again, some people are like, no, he's done. Okay, cool. I believe that AJ can do damage again. I look at the heavyweight division and I remove Alexander Usyk from it, and I'm like, AJ can beat a lot of those guys. So I like the idea of AJ staying busy and having real fights against real heavyweights. So I'm not a fan of this pause, especially considering that we've not seen AJ in the ring since September 2024. It's a long time. It's a long, long time. So if AJ has this fight, we're not going to see AJ in the ring properly until the spring. A long, long time. If AJ was busy, and then had this fight in between, I guess I wouldn't be too mad with it. I get it, right? If someone knocks on your door and says, do you want to fight Jake Paul for 100 million? You're like, you'd be stupid to say no. No, I don't want that 100 million for what would be and will be.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for more. See you next time.